You're listening to the CIP podcast, the Study Abroadcast, Season 3, Episode 2. I'm your host, Jacqueline. In this show, we'll explore the world of study abroad, offering advice, insights, and travel stories, bridging perspectives and cultures along the way. On this episode, we'll be discussing the idea of sustainability and the environmental impact of study abroad. Let's get right into it. Today on the show, we're pleased to welcome Sam. To get started, Sam, can you tell our listeners a little about yourself?
Thank you so much for having me on the Study ABROADcast. My name is Sam, my pronouns are she and her, and I'm the Communications and Engagement Coordinator here at the University of Guelph Sustainability Office. Though I do actually work a really unique role, and I also work with hospitality services as well, implementing sustainability initiatives. I'm really excited to be on here today because I'm going to be sharing all about my experience traveling abroad on an exchange semester to Sweden. And I'm really excited because I'm able to kind of talk about my passion of improving campus sustainability, where that really stemmed from, as well as like my experience and my advice for those wanting to travel abroad.
Oh, that's great. You mentioned that you studied abroad in Sweden. Did this impact your interest in sustainability? And can you explain how?
Absolutely. Yeah, so my exchange semester absolutely impacted my passion and my interest in sustainability, and I think really exposed me to new ideas when it came to sustainability and what that looked like, and how things could be done. And so I had the absolute honor and privilege to go to study abroad in exchange semester to Lund University. It was in my winter semester of my third year, and it absolutely definitely changed kind of the course of my life, really, when I look back and see it, because I was able to get kind of just so inspired by like campus sustainability at Lund University, but also like the whole city itself had such a unique sustainability culture. And Guelph has a very unique sustainability culture as well, which is what I've absolutely loved and like also fell in love with here in Guelph, was a sustainability culture, which is really made up by like the people, the initiatives, the program, the energy that gets put into these spaces. And so there, I really fell in love with that. And it was really neat to see just like the initiatives that were getting implemented. I loved the kind of idea of going and kind of like having a bit of a slower kind of a slower attitude to things, like going and sitting down and taking a break and having a coffee, like something known as fika, where you can kind of take a break from your day and slow down. Because I think that really does speak to a unique thing of sustainability, is just kind of slowing down, kind of having that time for reflection, and just kind of being and being present. So I really fell in love with that idea, that concept. I absolutely loved the ability to get around the city there in Lund. I thought that was just absolutely incredible. There was such a unique biking culture and just walkability of the city, which was really fun. And while I was there, I was just so inspired by what it looked like there, like what campus sustainability looked like, that I was really curious, like what the University of Guelph was doing. And when I was abroad, I was scrolling one day. I remember clearly I was sitting in my room at the time, and I was scrolling. I saw an email that came in from Guelph, and I think it was like late because of the time change. It was later in the day, and I got that email, and it was for the Peer Hopper program, and the sustainability office was looking for a communications peer helper to help with communications. And I knew previously a little bit about the office through a fellow eGov environmental governance student, but I really was like, oh, this must be like the group that's like working on campus sustainability, and I wonder like what the work they're doing, and I really want to get involved in that after kind of being immersed in this culture in Sweden. And so I ended up applying. I had the funniest interview because at the time, this was back in 2017. So we were using Skype. So we weren't as proficient at Zoom, and so we were using Skype, and I couldn't get my microphone to work. So I had ended up like being in my like dorm room in Sweden, like typing out all my answers to my interview. Didn't think I was gonna get it because it was such a funny way to do an interview, but I was so passionate about it because I was so just like enamored by the idea of like the roles that universities could play when it comes to shaping sustainability and shaping climate action. And so I ended up getting it, which was incredible. Started as a beer helper later in that year in the fall of 2017. And then I just continued to get more and more involved here at the University of Guelph Sustainability Office. And then because of just a lot of perfect timing and a lot of ideas that I kept bringing forward, I was able to get a new grad opportunity through it. And then I've since been working here at the University of Guelph in a staff position, working to improve campus sustainability, which is really exciting. And I'm so lucky to be able to do that because it's just been able for a way for me to continue to work on my passions and kind of keep that spark that I got in Sweden going.
It's really neat to see the way that your study abroad experience kind of transitioned into your now role at the university, which is a really good point to bring up because I think a lot of people see study abroad as a travel experience, but for some students, it really can either confirm their career path or, as in your case, kind of shift it and shift your interests to a new trajectory. So neat to see that happen and how it's played out for you. So you also talked a bit about your study abroad experience and some of the things you enjoyed about it. So I'm just wondering, would you recommend study abroad to other U of G students? And if so, why?
Oh, absolutely. Pretty much every student, whenever they mention the idea of studying abroad or that they like traveling or that they've ever considered it, I always encourage it. It was such an incredible experience for so many reasons. I myself, I was actually rather shy and I really did struggle in like my first 2 years going out, doing things on my own. Like going to like a meeting alone, I'd never really feel comfortable going by myself. I'd want to have like a friend there, or same with like going and doing tasks. And going abroad really changed me. Like I just felt more comfortable because I kind of got pushed a little bit out of my comfort zone in terms of having to go and do stuff on my own. And I was able to make a ton of new friends and just kind of got that comfort of being by myself, going and doing things, and really kind of felt that confidence when I came home. And I feel like my parents actually said that too, that I felt like a whole new person, like this whole new confident person that came back because I had that kind of experience getting out of my comfort zone and kind of having these new opportunities and like showing what the possibilities of things I could do on my own were, which was really, really fun. Navigating a new city. I think first year Sam never would have imagined herself going and living abroad alone. And it was honestly so incredible. It was a really great opportunity for that, for just, confidence building, but also, making connections. And it's really fun. One of my favorite things after going abroad was how like fun my Instagram feed became because you make friends from literally all over the world and really great connections. And now whenever I go on, there's usually always fun content from people I met years ago while studying abroad that we stay in touch with, and it's really neat to see like things that they get up to. And it's always that nice nostalgia, having the memories of like if we went on trips together, or classes, or just hanging around, walking around the city in Lund. It was really incredible. And so, made tons of great connections. I really, really enjoyed the courses as well. That was something I absolutely loved about studying abroad, was the courses and the opportunity to take things that you wouldn't have a chance to here. For example, I got to study like the Holocaust through the European perspective, which was an absolutely incredible course that was taught by such an incredible instructor. And I think that really gave me like such a different kind of knowledge and just a different kind of experience that you wouldn't get through courses here, just because of our own like our Canadian perspective that things are often taught through, but it was taught through a European perspective and a lot of different examples. And so that was really incredible. I was also able to take some Swedish language courses, which were quite fun. And so I've been keeping up with my Duolingo since traveling abroad to continue some of my Swedish. But yeah, such an incredible experience, and I definitely recommend it for anyone that would consider it, because it is a great opportunity to get that travel experience, but really to like immerse yourself in new cultures, new ideas, and new courses. So yeah, I highly, highly, highly recommend it for anyone that's interested.
Yeah, it's great to hear. You kind of touched on a few different aspects of it, like the academics. You've talked about the professional development and as well the personal development that really happens over a semester abroad. So, great answer. And because there are so many benefits to study abroad, if we bring it back to the original like theme of this podcast episode, are there ways to make study abroad more sustainable?
Yes, so I'm going to share this maybe in two parts. One, I'll share for international students here at the University of Guelph, and then I'll also share about University of Guelph students that are going abroad to other institutions. So first, I'll start with maybe University of Guelph students going abroad and ways to make that a little more sustainable. So there's tons of recommendations for this, but I'll share just a few. One is definitely to consider like whenever you reach your destination, and if you're going to be traveling to other places while you're there, is to look at how you're going to get around. So that could also be how you're going to get around this like wherever you're staying. I absolutely, one of the things I absolutely loved about Lund was that it was so bike friendly, and I was able to get a bike and use that as like a main form of transportation. And also I got used to like the public transit system there that was really incredible to use, and it was super walkable. So that was a great way to not have to rely on the car, especially because I wouldn't be able to access that. So I was able to get around in so many other ways, and because of how the city was planned, like nothing was too far to walk to, which was really nice to go get groceries or to go to find like a local restaurant or cafe. It was really nice. So that would definitely be something I'd consider is like when you're thinking about maybe where you're going to be staying in the city, definitely look for somewhere that you'd be able to utilize public transit, or if it's walkable or bikeable, so you can utilize that for getting around. And then also for if you are going to be traveling, one of my favorite parts about traveling abroad was really the opportunity to also go travel to so many other places. That was one of the reasons also why I decided to do Europe. I've always wanted to go to Europe, and there were so many places close by, considering if I was back in Ontario, how hard they'd be to get to other places. So I really wanted to utilize while I was there the opportunity to also go explore. And so looking at things like maybe lower emission form travel, for example, trains are one of the like best ways to travel in my experience, just because they are a really awesome opportunity to, if you're also trying to get work done, you can sometimes get Wi-Fi available. They can be a great opportunity to read. They're a lot slower, yes, in terms of like how fast you get there, but often so beautiful to see the whole countrysides of places you're going through, and seeing the towns is really nice. So I definitely recommend looking at trains. And the nice thing about Europe is there's such great train systems. So using a train to get around is a really smart way to travel. But if you do have to take flights, like consider doing it strategically. So if you know you're going to go to one place and you want to get to another, if you could take like a shorter trip and utilize other forms of travel, or maybe do extended periods of stay wherever you're going, instead of doing multiple little flights around, utilize that as well. And then also tons of sustainability tips for while you're there. I definitely utilize bringing around reusables. I think also traveling abroad really helped with that habit, because I was able to just like bring a water bottle and a reusable mug around to a ton of places with me. It was one of those things I especially utilize in airports, especially when some of the countries can be very expensive to purchase something like a coffee or a water bottle. It was really nice to be able to like go often find drink fill stations where I could fill up a water bottle for free. And same with coffee, if I could get somewhere where I could get my coffee and then it would stay hot for multiple hours, versus like that single use coffee cup where your coffee is usually cold like an hour later. So that was really, really nice. I definitely recommend bringing reusables around. And then also a huge tip too is like immerse yourself in that sustainability culture wherever you are. Sustainability looks different everywhere. And there definitely will be opportunities for you to explore what that looks like wherever you go. I definitely recommend getting involved, which I kind of will use this to jump to talking about for international students being here, but definitely recommend getting involved wherever you go, whether that's on campus or in the community. I know we have here at the University of Guelph Project Serve, which has a lot of really fun opportunities for our international students to give back to the communities they're staying in. So definitely recommend doing that for students going abroad as well. I was able to volunteer for a few things while I was on my exchange, and it was really incredible. It was just a great way to meet, great to meet people, especially ones that were interested in the similar things that I was. And then for students here at the university, definitely a couple recommendations. Again, I'll just reiterate getting involved is a huge one. It is a great way to make friends, especially if you are interested, and it can be a really fun way to learn a little bit more about what your host institution is getting up to and doing. So a great way to really get involved in that culture, that sustainability. And then also it also suggests things like, and this one kind of works for both, but if you're moving out, definitely think think ahead if you do think you're going to be leaving anything behind. One of the things that we're working on here at the Sustainability Office is hopefully a really fun free store program. So we'll be able to actually host the opportunity for people to rehome things if they're not able to bring them back with them, and also for people to pick them up for free. So we're very excited for that. But yeah, definitely utilize reusables as well. And I think I'll leave that there for all of my tips. I feel like I could go on forever with all the tips I have for international students.
Thanks, Sam. I think you definitely covered a lot of points there. I'll also add from CIP's perspective that we have a new initiative where we're trying to encourage students to offset their flights for study abroad. And so any students who purchase carbon offsets for their flight can submit their receipts to CIP, and we'll match their carbon offsets for up to $4,000 a year. And so in order to help make this possible, we have partnered with a company called Planet Air, who has a gold standard in carbon offsets. So you can find a lot more information about that on our CIP website.
And that's really incredible. I was really excited when we saw that announcement come out. Does CIP have any other sustainable initiatives or programs to learn about sustainability abroad?
Yeah, so we have a couple field schools that are running this summer coming up, summer 23, that are focused on sustainability. So specifically, we have a field school that's going to the Caribbean, and they're going to spend 1 week trying to find a sustainable tourism option. So the project will include, or the field school will include, site visits as well as visits with stakeholders and community organizations in order to see how a sustainable tourism implementation plan can help impact this community and maybe change how tourism is done in the area. As well, we have a Sweden field school that is focused on conversations with the Sami, who are an indigenous people to Scandinavia and Russia. And so students will interact with them and have conversations about kind of like land-based practices and sustainable initiatives and things surrounding indigenous lifestyles as well as knowledge and everything. So that can be a great opportunity to learn about sustainability and the environment in other countries. As well, you can participate in a program, in an exchange program like SAM, where you go to a country that's maybe more advanced in sustainability or just has different sustainable views than Canada. And so you can learn how things are done in different countries. So lots of different options available. And so, Sam, I'm wondering, how can people who are interested in sustainable travel or sustainability in general learn more?
Such a great question. So for people that are interested in learning more about sustainable travel and sustainability in general, I definitely recommend checking out if the host institution that you're going to has something similar to what we have here at the University of Guelph Sustainability Office, just to find out what like sustainability does look like wherever you go. Often post-secondary institutions have something similar, or maybe some department or an office that focuses on improving campus sustainability. So definitely recommend checking out to see if there is one. And that way, if you get involved, you can follow them on socials and see what that looks like there. That's a great way to learn more, especially at a local level, of what like sustainability looks like, ways to get involved, and opportunities again to like build kind of that community wherever you are, especially for those that are interested in sustainability. And then for looking for opportunities to learn more about sustainable travel, I definitely recommend utilizing like sustainable travel blogs. I definitely utilized those when I was going abroad to see ways I could kind of make my travel abroad experience like have a lighter footprint. Also, it's a great way to learn a lot of like money saving hacks and ways to travel more like ethically and sustainably. For example, I found a really awesome like article back when I was about to go abroad all about souvenirs. And so that really inspired me when I was abroad to think kind of creatively with souvenirs I'd get, because often souvenirs can be one of those things that you get and maybe your opinion changes on them, or you realize maybe that's not what, and you want to make sure that wherever you are going and getting that souvenir that you're actually giving back to those making it. and that it kind of supports like the local cultures and communities. So one of the ones that I absolutely love for kind of a creative, kind of sustainable souvenir that I did was I got candy, because candy is a really fun one because it's a consumable, and so it's often fun for if you are getting souvenirs for someone else, or even that one that like nostalgia souvenir for yourself. Was candy, because I utilized that a ton when I came back, because it gave me those kind of throwback memories of being on exchange. And it's always fun for people to be able to try new things from around the world. So having something like candies is always a fun one, as well as postcards that have beautiful artwork are always a fun souvenir. So tons of fun stuff you can learn about through blogs, for example.
Great suggestions. I know I myself use the postcard souvenir, but I might have to start doing the candy one because that just sounds even more enjoyable.
Yes.
My last question for you, Sam, is do you have any final advice for students who may be interested in studying abroad?
So there are so many reasons why I'd recommend studying abroad for University of Guelph students. It really was such a great opportunity for me to get out of my comfort zone. I was able to have kind of that experience of having to go and navigate a new city, navigate like a new transit system, and it really did help me kind of build a confidence within myself when I realized I could do things like that. So it's been a huge help. It was definitely something that myself in first year could never imagine myself doing. And now afterwards, I'm so happy I did that because it did really help me grow as a person. It also did really help me grow, I think, too, in my perspectives and understandings as a student. I was able to take a lot of courses that I wouldn't be able to have taken here, which I was really excited about because Lund has such an incredible range of courses. And so that's one of the reasons, too, why I decided to pick to go to Sweden was because of the course opportunities. And so I was able to take such an incredible range of courses and make a lot of close friends in those courses as well, which was really fun. One of my favorite courses is definitely taking the Swedish language courses. I definitely recommend if you go anywhere is to take a language course if there is one available, depending where you go. Definitely take a language course if the predominant language isn't English. I definitely recommend that because it's a super fun way and definitely helps you get that really neat experience. And I'm happy to say that I still do lingo Swedish all the time. I have a very fun score. So I absolutely loved that. And for studying abroad, I really do recommend it because it is such a great opportunity to really get in that traveling experience, but then also while doing your university degree. It was such a great opportunity to be able to go and make friends, travel with them, kind of get those close connections, and then also just experience really the world, see really sustainability too, what that looks like all over, try a whole bunch of new foods, really get immersed in a whole bunch of different cultures. And really, when it brought me back here, I was able to see everything in such a different perspective. And I really, really appreciated that and recommend it to anyone who's considering it, is to go and study abroad because it does have that such a lasting impact on you and on your degree.
Thanks so much, Sam, for sharing all that advice over the episode today. I think you really touched on a lot of topics that are important for students considering study abroad. So that's it for today's episode of the Study Abroadcast. Don't forget to explore your own study abroad opportunities on the CIP website, uoguelph.ca/CIP, or follow us on Facebook or Instagram. Our Instagram handle is CIP_Guelph. Thanks for listening, and thanks to Sam for sharing their advice, insights, and travel stories. Stay tuned to our next episode where we look to unpack the study abroad experience even further.